Hey guys, it is Private Doe Airsoft here, and today we're going to be going over something a little different than what's usual for this channel. We're going to be looking at 22 rifles and comparing them and seeing which one may be best for you. I'm going to go ahead and just take a quick swig of this Arizona green tea. It's refreshing. I figured I'd go over something that you guys have seen on the channel a little bit with my 1022. And just go over all the variants that I have, because I know I don't have every single one, because there's like lever action ones and a couple other kinds, but I figured I'd go over the ones that I have because they're probably going to be the most common, and just figure out which one might be the best for you, or which one's just objectively best. So starting off, what makes a 22 rifle? Well, it would actually be this shell right here, which is a 22 LR or long rifle. Now this is one of the smallest cartridges there are, and you'll notice whenever people fire them, there's like no kick to them just because of just how small they are. But these are actually like really nice, and they're also pretty cheap to buy in bulk, so that's why a lot of people have them. And they're also good beginner guns. So yeah, they're very popular and pretty cheap round. Good, reliable most of the time, and yeah. So first, we will actually be going over this Stevens Model 15 youth rifle, and this is actually just a single shot, even though it's got the bolt on it. This is a single shot 22 LR, and this has been in my family for a little bit, but it's actually not bad, especially for someone who's just learning the platform of like guns and all that, especially the rifle platform. This is actually pretty nice to start learning at. It's fairly simple. You can see there's no like rubberization or a butt pad on the stock, but you know, it's a little one. It doesn't really matter too much, at least in my opinion. You can see someone had carved out what looks to be a duck. I don't know if that'll focus, but you know, just gives it a little character since it's so old. That's something you can, you know, recognize it and like tell that it has some history to it. But yeah, going up, we have the bolt action system right here, which you just pull back, and then you just load a single round into the barrel and then pull forward. And then what you have to do on this is actually pull back on this back part right here. So whenever it's like this, that means it is actually ready to fire. Now there's no kind of safety on this because this kind of acts as its own safety back here. So whenever it's like this, you're just ready to fire. No shells in any of these, just so you know. That was just to show you how the firing goes. And further down, we have this iron sight right here. Kind of reminds me of the old German rifles, kind of like the Geweers, with the style that it is, but it's not bad. I have noticed that the actual adjustment for it, which would normally go right in that little slot right there, is missing. You can find other ones that probably have them, but you know, it's just something to look out for, especially with these older rifles. If it's just training, it's not that big of a deal, but it's just something to keep an eye out for. So moving on from that rear iron sight, we actually move up. We have all of our markings right here on the barrel, and then you just get up to the iron sight right here, which actually allows for a pretty good sight picture. I'm left-handed, so this is a little weird, but you know, you can get a pretty good sight picture with this. And yeah, nothing else to it really. I mean, got this sling on here, but it's not going to come with that. From what I know, it's not going to come with that. But yeah, it's pretty simple rifle. Good for beginners, youth, as it is a youth rifle. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and show a firing demo to you guys right now. So this next rifle we're going to be getting into is an actual bolt action. This is a Glenfield Model 25 by not Modlin, Marlin Firearms Company. This is one of my grandpa's rifles. Bolt action, 7-round capacity for the magazine. This is just a single stack. Stick that back in there. And the actual mag release, I guess I should show you, is in the magazine. It's this little tab right there. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's that little tab at the bottom. It's the mag release. And that's just something interesting. That'll be different on the last rifle we have. But yeah, so going over this, this does actually have a butt plate to this on the back of the stock, which is nice. We got sling mounts on the back corresponding with a front one up here. Moving forward, the grip is actually pretty nice on this. There's not like any texturing or anything. A lot of these wooden stocks, there's not much texturing on them, but you know, it's a nice hold, especially for 22. Nice cheek weld also right in there. There's a little divot, which is pretty nice for putting your cheek on there. Further up, we have the actual bolt action on here, which is just, you know, your standard kind of bolt, which just every time you rack the round, it loads a new shell and then you're ready to fire. Now this one's different because, you know, the magazine, this one doesn't need to be primed in the back. The actual system, pulling the bolt back, pushing it forward, that is what primes this gun. Now right here is the safety, which is just this little switch. Fire and safe. Put that back on safe. Yeah, pretty simple. For this one and the youth model, you actually have to pull back on the trigger to take this apart if you're going to clean it. So what you do is you pull the bolt up. I like to pull it back first. I don't think you really need to, but it's just for safety reasons. Pull the trigger after you take it off safe. Pull the trigger, pull the bolt out. Now I did clean all of these before I started this video, so obviously I don't need to clean them right now, but that's just to show you guys how to clean them. And then to put it back in, you just pull on the trigger again and slide it in. So after you get the bolt back in, sometimes the safety might get stuck, and that's just because it's disengaged the actual firing mechanism. So all you have to do is just pull up on that bolt and then push it forward, and then you're good to put it back on safe. On this one, we actually have it's a 4x15 made by Glenfield, and it's actually not bad. This is an old scope, so it could be better, but for just a low 22, it actually works pretty well. And then going forward, we actually have a rear iron sight, which is useless with the scope on it, but it's there, comes on it, and this does have the actual adjuster for it, so that is good. And then further up, we have the markings on the barrel, and then front iron sight up here. So this is a little more complex than our previous gun, but it's still decently simple in the realm of it just being a bolt action, and yeah, pretty fun to plank around. Another good one for beginners, and not much can go wrong with it. This thing has been shooting reliably for several years now, and it is just a good rifle. I'd recommend it for any new shooters, and yeah, so I'll go ahead and play the footage of me shooting it. So now we are going to head on to our last model, which is a Ruger 1022. Now, this is one of the most infamous guns, especially in America, for people just knowing about it, just because it's such a simple platform, and almost everyone and their mother has one, but it's for good reason, because they're good quality semi-automatic 22s. And this specific model is pretty nice. This was the first actual gun that was mine. My dad had bought it for me for a Christmas a few years ago, and I fell in love with this thing because it was my first gun. Very sleek and simple design on this one. I know there's different style stocks, different length barrels, but this one is just a simple compact. I think that's actually what this model is. I think it's a compact 1022. That's very simple. It's got fiber optic sights. If you can see on the sides, it's got red up here, and then in the back it's got green, which is a little harder to see, but it's there. So getting into this, this does actually have a butt plate on the back of the stock, which is nice. It's got the little Ruger logo right there. Moving up, again, just a very simple grip on here. It's nice, but it doesn't have any like fancy texturing on it or whatever. Up here is the trigger system, which is a little different than the ones we've seen on the past two, but this is also a semi-automatic, so a lot of it's going to be different. So up above that is a crossbow style safety, which just pops in and out, and the red indicates fire. And then whenever you want to put it on safe, you got to make sure you actually pull the bolt back a little bit, and then you can engage the safety. So now that I mentioned the bolt, let's actually move on to that part of the gun. So since this is semi-automatic, this isn't going to have a bolt where you have to pull up, pull back, and repeat that process for every shot. This is, you pull the bolt back once whenever you have a round in there, let it fly forward, and then you're ready to shoot just every time you pull the trigger. Now this does come with a 10-round magazine, these little like square cube looking magazines, but you can find different ones. I have a 25-round banana style one right here. I think they make 15s, and I think they have a couple different other mags, but I haven't personally seen any, and I don't personally own any other besides that 25 and the 10-round that came with it. So up here above the actual mechanism, you have screws in there, which if you want to, you can buy Picatinny rails that will adapt to this with the specific spacing and slap it on there, or even find certain scopes that'll fit on there. But I don't have anything on there right now, just because I like the sleek profile of it. But if I were to put anything, I'd probably put like a red dot, which is probably best for 22. You know, just real simple. You don't need anything that's like a 10 times scope. You just need something simple. And that's actually what I like about the 22 rifles and just the caliber itself, is because it's just super simple. And that's kind of the whole aura around it, is that it's effective, but it's also simple. Now, would I trust any 22s for self-defense? Personally, no, because I am a gun owner and I have an AR-15, and I would put my trust way more in that than a 22. But out of these three rifles that I've gone over today, I would trust this one more, simply due to the fact that it's semi-automatic. Now for hunting, any of them could be a good option, I will say. It just depends on your personal preference at that point. But for self-defense, I would definitely recommend the Ruger. So we've gone over this for the most part. We do have our engravings up there, but it's not really important because all guns have that. So yeah, now that we've pretty much gone over it, go ahead and show you the firing. So after going over all of these rifles and shooting all of them, showing you guys that, which one is the best? I don't know. That is my genuine answer to that question. I wanted to do this video trying to decide which one is objectively best, and I even mentioned that in the beginning, but now that I've really gone over them, it's honestly your own personal preference to which one is better and which one is worse. So maybe if you're a new shooter, I would recommend something like this youth rifle. It's very simple, pretty safe design. I mean, like, even if you pull this back, it's not going to fire until you pull this back. It's pretty easy to take down too. You just pull this back, pull the trigger, and you pull the bolt out. So it's easy to clean, easy to function. So for a new person getting into guns and all that, I would definitely recommend this style of rifle, this youth style. Now for hunting, I would recommend this Glenfield Model 25 by the Marlin Firearms Company, personally, because I think it's just pretty simple, reliable. This one has a scope, easy for scope mounting, and I know a lot of people like bolt actions a lot of times for the hunting, and there are certain regulations on semi-automatic rifles. So something like this is, better for hunting, for squirrel or small game. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this. Pretty reliable. This one has ran for years and it still works. So yeah. And then, as I mentioned before, for self-defense, I would personally recommend, out of these rifles I have today, the Ruger 22 Compact, because this specific model is very small, easy to maneuver around your house. You're not going to be smacking any walls with this. You can keep it really close to your body, and since it's semi-automatic and can take so many different kind of magazines, you can have a lot of rounds just in case something were to happen in that self-defense area. So you just load up one of these, you keep it loaded, keep it by your nightstand. You hear a bump in your night, you can just grab it. It's very simple, reliable. I have not really had any malfunctions with this. I will say, with the 25 round mag, which is made by Ruger, strange enough, this has given me some problems. So I would look into that. I would test your mags before you would use them for any kind of self-defense, just so you don't put your life on the line with a faulty mag. So if it's going to be for that, I would recommend the standard 10 round magazine that comes with it, just because personally it has given me the least amount of problems. So that is going to do it for the video today, guys. I really hope you all enjoyed that, and I know this is a little different than what I normally post on this channel, but I figured, we're starting to get more into the guns and like actual firearms, and I figured I'd go over 22s because that's a lot of the time like someone's first gun or whatever, and I figured I'd just go over all the different kinds that I had and see which one would be best for certain situations. And hopefully this video gave you guys some ideas for what you would like in a 22 if you don't already have one, and just highlight some of the pros of each one. If you like that video, make sure you go ahead and check out my other ones. I would very much appreciate it if you subscribed. I'm trying to get the channel to 500 so I can start posting community tabs to see what you guys want to see. And yeah, so go ahead, subscribe if you want, give it a like, comment, tell me what you want to see in future videos, and yeah, maybe turn on that notification bell. So yeah, that'll be it for this video. Thank you all for watching.